My name is Cholie Mercer, and if you had met me 3 years ago, you would have thought I was one bad week away from disappearing completely. Not dying. Just fading. The kind of fading that happens when your own family looks through you like cigarette smoke. I was 32 years old when my father disowned me in front of 300 people beneath crystal chandeliers and imported white orchids at my sister's wedding. And the worst part? It wasn't even the cruelest thing they'd ever done to me. The ballroom smelled like champagne, roses, and butter-poached lobster. A string quartet played near the marble staircase while wealthy guests in silk gowns laughed loud enough to drown out the soft clinking of silverware. Every inch of the venue screamed old money trying desperately to look effortless. My stepmother, Vanessa, loved places like that. Places where humiliation could wear diamonds. I remember standing near the dance floor in a dark emerald dress my mother once said made my eyes look dangerous. The fabric hugged my ribs too tightly because I'd lost weight from stress. My heels hurt. My smile hurt more. Across the room, my sister Serena glowed beneath cathedral lighting in $6,000 of lace and pearls. She looked breathtaking. She also looked directly at me the way executioners probably look at prisoners before the blade drops. With anticipation. Waiting. Vanessa approached first. Of course she did. Her perfume hit before her voice, sharp jasmine and something cold underneath it. Cholie, she said sweetly, resting manicured fingers against my arm, your father would like a moment. Every instinct in my body screamed. But I followed her anyway. Because when you grow up inside emotional warfare, you learn to walk calmly toward explosions. The microphone squealed softly as my father tapped his champagne glass. Before the final dance, he announced, smiling at the crowd, there's one personal matter I'd like to address. The room quieted. I felt it immediately. That shift in air. Predators sensing blood. My father looked magnificent in his tailored tuxedo. Distinguished. Respected. The kind of man magazines called self-made. They never mentioned my mother built half his empire while dying from chemo. Many of you know my daughter Serena, he continued warmly. But some of you may also know my eldest daughter. Cholie. A few polite heads turned toward me. Vanessa folded her hands delicately, already enjoying herself. Then my father's expression hardened. After years of dishonesty, instability, and betrayal against this family, I've made the difficult decision to formally sever all personal and financial ties. Murmurs rippled through the ballroom. And then he pulled out the envelope. White. Heavy paper. My name written across the front in black ink. I believe accountability matters, he said calmly. Even when it's painful. Serena watched me like she was waiting for tears to validate her entire existence. My father held the envelope out. Take it. My hands didn't shake. That surprised even me. I walked forward slowly, heels clicking against marble so loudly the sound echoed through the ballroom. Hundreds of eyes followed me. Investors. Family friends. Reporters from society magazines. I took the envelope. Opened it. Disownment notice. Legal language. Public declaration. No inheritance. No affiliation with Mercer Holdings. No right to represent the family name. Vanessa actually smiled. A small one. But I saw it. And suddenly, standing there beneath all that gold light, I remembered another room entirely. A hospital room. My mother's fingers trembling in mine. People will show you who they are after I'm gone, she whispered weakly. Believe them the first time. I folded the paper carefully. Tucked it into my pocket. Then I smiled. Not a broken smile. Not a trembling one. A calm smile. And I said, thank you, Dad. Confusion flickered across his face. Serena blinked. Vanessa's smile vanished. Then, to everyone's horror, I walked directly onto the dance floor as the band resumed playing. And I danced. Alone. The guests stared like they were watching someone lose their mind in real time. Maybe they thought humiliation would crush me publicly. But humiliation stops hurting when you've already survived worse in private. I swayed beneath the chandeliers while memories crashed through me like thunder. The day after my mother died, Vanessa had moved into our house before the funeral flowers wilted. 3 months later, every photograph of me disappeared from the walls. A year later, my office at Mercer Holdings was restructured away. Then came the credit fraud. Loans. Cards. Debt under my name. Someone had stolen my identity so thoroughly that debt collectors called me 20 times a day. And when I confronted my father, he sighed like I was inconveniencing him. "You've always been dramatic, Cholie." I nearly lost my apartment because of debts I never created. But the cruelest part wasn't losing money. It was realizing my father knew. And chose them anyway. I spent nights sitting on my kitchen floor eating crackers because my accounts were frozen while Serena posted yacht photos in Greece wearing bracelets bought with stolen credit lines under my name. I hated her. God, I hated her. Not because she won. But because she enjoyed watching me drown. Still, I never fought publicly. That frustrated Vanessa most. She wanted spectacle. She wanted me screaming. Instead, I became quiet. Very quiet. And quiet women are dangerous because people forget they're still thinking. A week after my mother died, I found the cedar box. Hidden in the back of her closet beneath old sweaters that still smelled faintly like her perfume, cedarwood and orange blossom. Inside were letters. Documents. USB drives. And one handwritten note. For Cholie. Only when you are ready. I wasn't ready then. Grief makes paper feel heavier than stone. So the box sat untouched for years while my family erased me piece by piece. Until the day a bank investigator casually informed me that someone inside Mercer Holdings authorized several fraudulent transfers connected to accounts under my identity. That night, I opened the box. My mother had known. God. She had known everything. The USB contained financial records, internal emails, shell corporations, forged signatures, hidden offshore accounts. And at the center of all of it? Vanessa. Not just stealing from me. Stealing from the company. Using Serena's lifestyle brand as a laundering pipeline. But the final document made my stomach drop. My mother's original ownership agreement. Signed before Mercer Holdings became a billion-dollar corporation. A hidden survivorship clause. If my father removed me from the family trust unlawfully, all maternal shares transferred directly to me. Controlling shares. Majority shares. My mother had protected me from beyond the grave. I remember sitting there until sunrise, shaking so hard I spilled coffee across the floor. Then I started planning. Quietly. Patiently. For 11 months, I gathered evidence. I hired forensic accountants. Private investigators. Lawyers who specialized in corporate fraud. I learned how to smile at people I wanted to destroy. And eventually, I signed the documents. Everything finalized 48 hours before Serena's wedding. Timing matters in revenge. So there I was dancing beneath chandeliers while my family celebrated my public execution. Completely unaware they had already handed me the knife. Halfway through the song, my phone vibrated. One message. Transfer complete. I almost laughed. Then came the second message. Federal warrants approved. Ah. There it was. Justice. I looked across the ballroom at Vanessa. She was whispering furiously to my father now. Probably confused why I wasn't shattered. Then the ballroom doors opened. Hard. Not dramatically at first. Just enough for cold night air to slip inside. But then 6 federal agents walked in wearing dark suits. Everything stopped. Music. Conversation. Breathing. One agent spoke clearly. Vanessa Mercer and Serena Mercer, We have warrants regarding financial fraud, identity theft, embezzlement, and conspiracy." Gasps exploded through the ballroom. Serena actually laughed nervously at first. "Wait, what?" Vanessa went pale instantly. She knew. Oh, she knew. My father turned toward them in confusion. There must be some misunderstanding. The lead agent opened a folder. "No misunderstanding, sir. We also have authorization freezing all Mercer Holdings assets pending investigation." My father looked like someone had punched the air out of his lungs. "No, no, that's impossible." I finally stopped dancing. The silence that followed felt holy. I walked toward them slowly. Vanessa's eyes locked onto mine. And for the first time in 15 years. She looked afraid of me. "Cholie," my father said weakly, "what is this?" I reached into my pocket and pulled out the disownment letter. Still folded neatly. Then I handed him another envelope. Different paper. Different law firm. His fingers trembled opening it. I watched his face collapse line by line. Transfer of majority ownership. Emergency board authorization. Removal of executive privileges. Effective immediately. Signed by me. The room became so quiet I could hear ice shifting in champagne glasses. "You," he whispered. I smiled softly. "You removed me from the family, Dad." I stepped closer. "So Mom gave me the company instead." Serena lunged toward me then, mascara already streaking. "You planned this?" Her voice cracked into something ugly and desperate. I looked at her calmly. "No," I said. "You planned this. You just assumed I'd stay weak forever." Vanessa's face twisted with hatred. "You ungrateful little." The agent stopped her before she could finish. Handcuffs clicked. A sharp metallic sound. "Beautiful, honestly." My father stared at me like he didn't recognize the woman standing in front of him. Maybe he didn't. Because grieving daughters eventually become dangerous women. He tried one last time. "Cholie, please." That word. Please. After years of silence. Years. I almost pitied him. Almost. Then I leaned close enough to smell the whiskey on his breath and whispered. "The cruelest thing you ever did wasn't disowning me." His eyes watered. "It was teaching me how little I meant to you." I stepped back. "But thank you anyway." The agents escorted Vanessa and Serena through the ballroom while guests pretended not to stare. Phones came out immediately. Whispers spread like wildfire. Ruined. Finished. Exposed. And my sister, beautiful perfect Serena, sobbed openly while cameras flashed. The same crowd that once worshipped her now devoured her alive. Funny how quickly society changes sides when money disappears. My father stood frozen beneath the chandeliers. Alone. For the first time in his life. I should have felt victorious. Instead, I felt light. Like setting down something heavy you carried too long. As I walked toward the exit, my father called after me one final time. "Your mother would hate this." I stopped. Turned slowly. And smiled. "No," I said quietly. "She planned it." As the ballroom doors closed behind me, snow began falling across the city in soft white silence. For the first time in years, my phone wasn't ringing with debt collectors, threats, or humiliation. Just one message. From the lawyer handling my mother's estate. "Your mother trusted you to survive this." I sat alone in my car, staring at the cedar box on the passenger seat. The same box they never knew existed. The same box that destroyed the people who thought they buried me. Back inside the hotel, my father remained standing beneath the chandeliers while guests abandoned the reception one by one. No wife. No golden daughter. No empire. Just a disownment letter still lying on the dance floor where he dropped it. And somewhere between the music stopping and the handcuffs closing, the Mercer family finally learned the truth. the daughter they erased, was the one holding everything together all along.